Hello, and welcome to another edition of Day Drinking with Kevin. I'm your host, Kevin McGuire. In today's how-to episode, we're going to learn how to pair wine with Mediterranean food. I have a special guest coming to visit today, Erica Olds, who is the owner of the Perfect Pita restaurants in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. Today's wines, we're going to pair an Albarino from Spain, an Argentinian Malbec, and a sparkling Moscato from Italy. I can't wait to see what Erica's brought us. Erica, thank you so much for coming and talking to us about how to pair wines with Mediterranean food. I'm very excited to have you here today. I can't even imagine that you're here. So tell us about the dishes that you brought.
Well, thank you so much, Kevin, for inviting me. I'm thrilled to be here, thrilled to be a guest on your wonderful show. Today I brought our two best sellers at our stores. We call it a chicken gyro, which is over here on the left. We marinate and cook and slice our chicken in-house. We're based out of Springfield, Virginia. We also brought our lamb gyro here today, which also pairs lovely with all the selections Kevin has made.
And then we also have baklava for dessert, which I'm very excited about as well.
Yes.
So a lot of times people come into the restaurant and they have questions about pairing Mediterranean food with wines, and they think it's a difficult process, but it's really not. And so when we're talking about pairing, say, the chicken gyro with Mediterranean foods, one of the things that I really like with this particular dish is the jalapeno hummus. And it's one of my favorites, and it's actually one of my kids' favorites too. And when we go to Safeway, for example, or Wegmans, and we see your hummus in the shelf there, they always go for the jalapeno hummus because it's terrific. And so when I have the chicken gyro, the first thing I do is lather it with jalapeno hummus. I don't know if that's normal or not, but let's face it, my day drinkers out there know that I'm as abnormal as possible. So,
Well, you were making all the right choices, Kevin.
Thank you.
Number one, jalapeno hummus is my personal favorite, and we have 8 flavors of hummus. Jalapeno definitely is one of the best, has the best, I think, amount of heat in it, and it also really pulls the flavors of the chicken. If your kids like it, that's awesome. I have a lot of kids that come in and, do you like spicy? And they're like, yes, I like spicy, and then they have a little bit of jalapeno and they're like, not that spicy. So depending on your palate, but it is, I think, a wonderful addition to the chicken pita, and just brings out all the flavors, pulls them all in together.
Well, not only is it my kid's favorite hummus, it's my mom's favorite hummus as well. And she could eat it by the tub. And, so when she sees this video, she's going to say, that's my favorite hummus. When you're pairing wine with something that has a little bit of spice or a little bit of kick to it, one of the things you want to do is try to pick something that has a little bit of acidity to it, and a little bit of fruit flavors to kind of balance out the spicy a little bit. And so what we've done here is we are pairing today's chicken gyro with jalapeno hummus with a Albarino from Spain, from Rías Baixas. And one of the reasons that I like this is because this area of Spain is very cool and rains a lot, and so therefore the wines tend to be very crisp and very acidic and very bright and really ready to pair with something that has a little spice to it. So whether you're eating a spicy jalapeno hummus or Asian food, Thai food, Indian food, this is a wine that will go particularly well with these. This particular wine I like because it was aged on the lees, which means it's creamy and it has a really full mouthfeel, and it's going to go incredibly well with Erica's chicken gyro and jalapeno hummus. So tell us about the lamb dish that we have.
Thank you. So our next number one seller is our gyro. It's regular gyro for us. It's actually lamb and beef. We sell these at all our stores. We have 8 locations in the Northern Virginia, Maryland area. And we make, again, everything in-house in our Springfield location. Everything is cooked and sliced, along with our homemade pita bread that is stuffed with the lamb and topped with onions, lettuce, tomato, and our homemade tzatziki sauce as well.
And when you're talking about lamb, first of all, lamb is incredibly delicious. And the tzatziki sauce is a little bit hard to pair with sometimes. And so what I selected there was Argentinian Malbec. And my day drinkers out there are not going to picture me necessarily in a gaucho outfit running around with a open fire trying to catch what we're going to eat that night. But this is a wine that the tannins and the smokiness are going to pair particularly well with gamey meats like lamb and the tzatziki sauce. And I think when you try the wine and then try the lamb again, you're going to realize that they were made for one another. And the creaminess of the tzatziki sauce and the uniqueness of the lamb is going to pair very well with this Argentinian Malbec. And lastly, we have Baklava, which is one of my favorites. Tell us about that.
Thank you, Kevin. So baklava is it's a famous Mediterranean dessert. You can find it in Turkey, you can find it in Greece, you can find it all over. And it is layers of phyllo dough. And if you've ever seen the process, it's amazing. Every single layer is hand rolled. And you can see by the size of the baklava, the many layers involved. So it's layers of hand rolled phyllo and then crushed pistachios. And then there's a homemade sweet syrup that is poured on top, and then crushed pistachios again on top, and then baked in the oven. And it's a wonderful, delicious dessert. Not too sweet, but just sweet enough, and I think the nuts balance it amazing.
And I went a different direction here. Normally, when you have a sweet dessert or semi-sweet dessert like baklava, you might think of some wines that would be more sweet than that to pair with this. Here, I went with a sparkling Malvasia. And in this sparkling wine, what it not only gives you is the sweetness of the wine, but also the crispness and the refreshing bubbles that will actually, I think, pair incredibly well with this dish. So, we have our chicken gyro with the albarreño from Spain. We have the lamb gyro with the tzatziki sauce with our Argentinian Malbec. And we have our wonderful baklava with the Malvasia. And I think we have quite some wonderful pairings here. So, Erica, the Perfect Pita is a cornerstone of the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. Tell us about the history of how Perfect Pita got started.
Well, thank you very much, Kevin, for saying something so kind. My family started in the restaurant business in 1975 in Arlington, Virginia.
Wow.
My father opened his first restaurant with my mother on Columbia Pike, Attila's on Columbia Pike. In 92, they sold that restaurant and opened up a bakery in Springfield, Virginia, wholesaling hummus and pita bread. I finished school in 1994.
Okay.
When I finished school, I opened the first Perfect Pita, and that was in Old Town Alexandria. And in the last 27 years, I can't believe it, this August, we have 8 locations currently running, and we have been blessed enough to spread our business into the wholesale area. So we are now in Whole Foods, Wegmans, Safeway. We just started with Harris Teeter,
That's awesome.
which we're very excited about, and Safeway.
And one of the things that I've always found really incredible was this idea of the perfect daughter. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure they're talking about you in that particular case. What can you tell me about that?
Well, thank you. So it's been the family joke, because I do have a sister. People ask me that all the time. Do you have a sister? I'm like, I sure do, but she moved to Arizona and I'm still here. So that became the ongoing joke. And I opened our first little shop, and quite honestly, it wasn't going to be my real job. It was just to get that going for my parents, and then I was a government and politics major. So as our business model grew and we were growing, I kept getting asked, what is your job title? What is your job title? So my tongue-in-cheek joke was always the perfect daughter or the perfect pita. So I was like, I'm the perfect daughter. Because I really didn't have one job title. We worked and got done what needed to get done, whether that was getting permits, opening a shop, hiring staff, developing a menu, creating, layouts, all those things. So it became a joke. And then we had an opportunity. Whole Foods came and asked us to develop a exclusive local line of hummus just for Whole Foods, and they really loved the Perfect Daughter logo and name, and so now we have the Perfect Daughter in print on hummus containers in Whole Foods throughout the Mid-Atlantic region, which is really fun.
What are some of those unique hummus that are under the Perfect Daughter label?
Thank you. The most unique is rosemary and sea salt, which has actually become the #1 seller for the Perfect Daughter line. We also have a chipotle hummus. We have a roasted garlic hummus, and then we have a original traditional hummus as well.
Well, they sound delicious. And in fact, all of those hummus will pair particularly well with wines. And if you have a question about which wines would pair with any of Erica's Perfect Daughter hummuses, please don't hesitate to email me at daydrinkingwithkevin@gmail.com. Erica, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us and the fellow day drinkers out there. We really appreciate it. And for those day drinkers that are looking for some food, some excellent food to pair with their wines, please don't hesitate to visit the Perfect Pita in 8 different locations around the Washington metropolitan area. And you can also look for you on the website, right?
Yes.
Excellent. And we will post that website so that everybody can see that. And if you like this episode, please don't hesitate to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to Day Drinking with Kevin. And if you have ideas for future episodes, please don't hesitate to email me at daydrinkingwithkevin@gmail.com. So until next time, I'm going to enjoy some wonderful gyros with Erica here and some incredible wines. So until next time, I say salute.
Salute.